Okay, so I had no intention of coming on here looking like this or anytime soon, but I feel that it's really important for me to share a really clear and very honest and vulnerable picture of how things are going. So, like I said, 2 days ago on Thursday, went through like the final hearing for the divorce, and things are, on their way. We're just in the waiting game right now. That being said, today is Saturday, so it's literally been 2 days, and I think that it's important that I talk about the fact that I'm not doing great. So last night I had an event that I was super excited about earlier in the week to go to with friends from work. We were just meeting at a friend's house, and we were going to have pizza and maybe drink a little bit and watch the Olympics. So yesterday was a really busy day at work. I was pretty, focused, but then I realized I was late on homework and there was a lot of things on my plate. And, I had trouble getting into work in the morning. It was more of that sort of depression setting back in that I've been dealing with, like in this low grade level for a couple of months. So when it came closer to time to go to this event, I really intensely did not want to go. Like 100% did not want to be there. So, I continued to try and talk myself into it. I had promised it to one of my friends that never asks me to go to things. So it took a lot of vulnerability for her to ask me to do that, and I wasn't going to not go. So I ended up being like 45 minutes late, and I just was not in the mood. I was kind of snippy with the friend whose house it was at, and I just stayed back and talked to one of my other friends, and I wasn't even fully engaged in that conversation. And I just really kind of felt like shit. So on my way home, I didn't drink anything, and I was offered a drink, and I said, I don't think it's a good idea unless you want me to just be crying in the floor. I'm not in a good place where I want to be drinking at all. So on the way home and sort of laying in my bed when I got home, I was trying to figure out exactly what was going on, because I just felt super low and super down and very overwhelmed by everything, and all the stuff that's on my plate to try and figure out in the next couple of weeks and months. And, I'm realizing that sort of what the feeling is that I have had this huge release. So I was super positive after, court went down. I was feeling super strong. And, by the end of the day, I was starting to feel kind of low, and it's just getting deeper and deeper right now. And I think that despite all the victory that I feel and how much I feel like I've prepared for this whole situation, there's some things you can't prepare for. And I know that this is not finalized yet, but it's pretty dang final at this point. And so what it feels like in my head, and this may make no sense, it may make a lot of sense if this is the only way that I can describe it. So going through that court date and walking out of there knowing that, for all intents and purposes, I was free. It was this big release. It was a release of a huge amount of emotions and a huge amount of just weight off of my shoulders. So what it feels like now is that I've had this huge thing released, and it left this gaping hole in my life. And, I've had a little bit of, missing memories, and I, drove past an apartment, their first apartment together, and that was kind of sad. And, that's a normal reaction to have, I think. And, but what I wasn't prepared for was the fact that I would just have this gaping hole. And I've done so much work to kind of build up all these different areas of my life, and to build up my coping skills, and to build up my resilience, and become very positive and know who to reach out to. And I've done all of these things to become very positive and in a better place. And then I just have this gaping hole where there's nothing there to fill it. And, I've fallen a little bit into some of the patterns of my binge eating disorder. Really haven't been binging, but it's just like the mindset and bad choices in food. It's just this sort of recklessness and not wanting to engage in anything and not really caring about anything. And what I'm realizing is that I have this hole, like I've got this big whole person that I am. And there's this one section that is just completely empty right now. And I thought I had prepared all of this stuff where it would just kind of fill in the gaps, but that's not how it works. I have all of these coping skills and positive thoughts and ways of being that are, stacked up where they need to be stacked up, but they don't fit in the hole that's open now. And so I felt like for the last couple of days, I'm just sort of flailing around trying to figure out what's going to fill this hole. I was not prepared for that at all. I've had a really shitty couple of days, and I wasn't ready for this, and there was no way that I could prepare for that. So my instinct is to be very hard on myself and say, well, look, you didn't prepare as well as you thought you did, and you failed. But honestly, you know, in my heart, I know that there is no way I could have prepared for that, because you don't know what it's going to feel like. And yeah, so right now I'm just trying to be very forgiving of myself, and I'm trying very hard to find ways to fill the hole that's sitting there in the middle of everything with things that will fit in there and things that will actually work. And I don't know how long that's going to take. I know that it's going to take me trying different things, and I'm not in the mood to try different things right now. I need to be just patient with myself, I guess, and just not worry about the fact that I feel like I've gained 7 pounds back because I'm eating stupid foods, or that I don't feel great because I've not been working out enough. And I need to not focus on that, because I can't take any more negative right now. And yeah, I'm just trying to be very clear-minded. And I think that one of the things I need to do this weekend is just to really sit down and figure out what I can try. And I know today I'm not planning on leaving this desk until my homework is done. So that tomorrow I have just a free day to myself, because it's been a long time since I've had a day to myself with no plans, with no obligations, and that's what I need tomorrow to be. So this might be a late night, but I need to be done with obligations today, and I don't think that that's too much to put on myself. It's a lot of work, but I think it's doable. So right now my plan tomorrow is to go to a movie by myself, and I think that that'll be a good thing to reclaim, because I really love the Marvel movies. I love the Avengers. I love everything about them. And I've gotten more into the DC movies, but Marvel still is top of the list. And I stopped going to them with my ex because he, one, you know, annoyed me a little bit when we would go to movies, and he just took the joy out of it. And there were always issues with the money, and it was just not a good situation. So tomorrow at like the Dollar Theater, Thor, which is one of the Marvel movies that I missed, is on. So I was just gonna go by myself and just enjoy it and have some not healthy movie popcorn, because I love that, and I'm just gonna enjoy myself. So that's one thing that I want to do tomorrow. It's right next to the gym. I would like to actually go to the gym and, you know, really make an effort to feel better about myself, because I know that I feel better when I eat right and I exercise. So that's another thing I want to do as well, is to take time out of my schedule, because that's a big part of it too. Is in the last week I've just been super overextended, and I'm not allowing me to take care of myself first and foremost. So that's something that I need to really redo. So I'm hoping for a better day with that. And I will say that I really need a day where I'm positive and I focus on myself and I do what I need to do without judgment, because I'm going and doing some traveling for work on Monday, and I'm going down there with a friend that I'm not all that happy with at the moment, who's really not been as supportive as I hoped she would be. So that's another thing that's weighing on me a lot too, is that I'm in this negative place and I'm very irritated with her, and I don't, you know, I just don't need to be. I just need to accept that, you know, that's not something she's great at, so I can't expect that. So trying to have realistic expectations for myself and for other people, you know, and just being honest about things. So anyway, not a long update. I just thought that it was important to kind of be honest and vulnerable about exactly what it's like to go through this process, because it's not all sunshine and roses, and it's not all being amazed with how strong you are. It sucks sometimes too. So that's where I'm at today, 2 days after court, still getting emails from him, really inappropriate, graphic, sexual emails from him, and then now he's back to asking me if I want him to co-sign for an apartment for me. Never in a million years, but whatever. So that's where I am. I'll update as things go, and hopefully once I kind of get my head out of my ass in the next couple of days, I can have a little bit of a happier update. But that's where I am today.